Hi everybody, welcome to another Death Battle prediction video. I'm Josh Curving, and this is my location at my school, actually. It's because I haven't had a lot of time with work and school to do new videos. But this one didn't require that much information, so I think I can get it out of the way right now before the episode comes out. As usual, we'll start with my thoughts on the last match, and really I can't say much besides I told you so. I'll go into detail about the main things that they got wrong with that one. They pretty much gave the match to Orchid based on her victory over Idol in Killer Instinct, which is a really weird move because they specifically say in the Killer Instinct lore that Idol was very severely weakened by the time he was captured by Ultracorp. So that's power scaling that doesn't really work. And then they also didn't really go into any detail over Ivy's bullet kick feat. They pretty much gave Strider the win last episode based on a speed calculation, and then they get another bullet timing feat and they don't investigate it at all. Like, I'd even like to say some people interpret it not as a bullet kick feat, but she kicks a gun away, and even though in Death Battle they interpreted it as a bullet kick, I'll address the side that say it was a kick for the gun. Either way, Cervantes actually does pull the trigger and the flint goes down, and then Ivy brings her foot up and kicks the gun away. So she moved her foot in the time it took for the flint to light the gunpowder and fire, which is still a superhuman, very impressive speed feat that Orchid has no counter for. But overall, they just did a bad job, and the animation was kind of uninteresting because whereas with most of the other fights, they go throughout the environment in various ways and they just move around. This one was very, very two-dimensional. It stayed on a single plane on just a platform. Well, now let's get into the new one. Bucky O'Hare versus Fox McCloud. Again, I'm not really excited for this one. I feel like it was a mistake to do because the battle is very, very one-sided. They're probably going to severely limit what Fox gets to bring, because a lot of the stuff will just absolutely wreck shit against Bucky because he doesn't have defenses. He doesn't have nearly the firepower Fox brings. I mean, if we're just going from each game, the things he gets, Fox has massive close quarters combat experience from Star Fox Adventures, from fighting dinosaurs like 30 times his size. From Star Fox Assault, he gains fucking everything. He has jetpacks, which Bucky has too, so Bucky has even less on him now. He has snipers, rocket launchers, Gatling guns. He gets so much stuff. He gets landmasters. He gets like various kinds of ships. Like, there's just no way that Bucky can compare to this one. And he fought, like, the threats between the two of them are just incomparable. Bucky fought a bunch of like incompetent frogs and one rogue AI, while Fox has fought like massive armies, gigantic mechas, giant dinosaurs, insects that are like capable of taking over galaxies by consumption. Just, you can actually take Fox's threats seriously. I'm not really going to bother going into speed, strength, and durability for this one because it's not necessary, and neither of them really have any solid feats, especially because of the short running time for Bucky O'Hare. Now, there's actually a statement that Ben made on Twitter based on the use of the vehicles. He specifically said that the crews for their teams would come into play, but in more of a support role than anything. But most of the fight would be on the ground. I'm not really sure how to take that. I don't know if it means that the air battle will mean nothing overall and that it'll all come down to fist fighting, or maybe it's just for aesthetic purposes and it'll just be a fun little thing to watch. Who knows? Only time will tell for that one. And there's actually another interesting thing that's going on with this new one is there's a new animator. Apparently Jordan Lang was let go. I'm not sure why. He was doing a very good job. And the new person who is going in for him is someone named Derek, I believe. I've seen some of his work. I saw his Thor versus Kratos audition, which is hilarious because that's such a terrible matchup, but it's good how they play it straight, and he stomps him in 20 seconds. And then I saw some of his Maple Story fight animations. Those are actually very good as well. I guess we'll see if he can bring to the table what Lang has, but I don't. If you see this, Lang, you did a very, very good job throughout the course of the show. You brought it to places that it couldn't go before, and the show would not have been the same if you hadn't joined on. So, congratulations. Now, on another topic, I've noticed that a lot of matches, this isn't new, it's been happening throughout the entirety of the show, but a lot of the matches are not based on how close the actual fight is. It's based on how similar the fighters are, which doesn't work. When I watch a fight, I want to see that the fight is actually even, it's fair, it's very, very close, and it's debatable. That's the main thing, is that I want to be able to debate this. A lot of recommendations I've seen in a lot of past battles have just been really huge and one-sided. This is one of the one-sided ones. Other ones are like Thor versus Raiden, Spawn versus Kratos, Superman versus Goku, but we can't really blame them on that one. Everyone was screaming at them for it. I'll actually say a few of the matches that I've seen recommended a lot that I don't really want them to do because they're just very one-sided and it's uninteresting. So the first one that I've seen a lot of is Dan Hibiki versus Hercule Satan from Dragon Ball Z. I know it would be funny. It would be very, very funny, but so that's the only reason why that one might get a pass, and it would be fun to watch, kind of like Goomba versus Koopa all over again. But you gotta look at it from the lore. Like, Dan Hibiki is the worst of a bunch of people who are at best street level destruction, stuff like that. Dan is like the worst of them. Now, Hercule Satan, Mr. Satan, he was actually the best in the world, as long as like the people who can planet bust weren't in the fights. There was a tournament and it featured everyone on Earth, and he came out on top because like Goku, Krillin, Tien, they weren't all there. That's impressive on its own. I honestly think that you could put Mr. Satan versus like a lot of people in Street Fighter and he would still beat them. Just because that's a lot of people, and he even took hits from people like Cell. It's just a really one-sided fight. Again, though, I see the desire for it to be a really funny fight, so I would maybe be okay with that one. Another one I see a lot of is Scorpion versus Ghost Rider. Yes, they're both skeleton-headed people with fire powers and stuff, but oh man, all it takes is Ghost Rider to look at him strange and just, oh fuck, you died. Because I'm not sure if any people know this, but Ghost Rider has this ability called the Penance Stare, which makes anyone who looks at him, looks into his eyes, experience all the pain they have ever inflicted in their lives all at once. Now, for someone like Scorpion, who regularly fights and kills, he would die instantly. It would literally take a look to kill him. Bad matchup. One, it's not as common, but I've seen it sometimes, is Ezio Auditore versus Corvo Titano. Really bad fight. Like, yes, they're both assassins, and yes, they both use a lot of stealthy stuff, but nothing Ezio has is even comparable to Corvo's abilities. Like, literally, I can summarize how that fight should go. Corvo stops time, Corvo stabs Ezio, the fight is over. Like, you can't compare them when one of them has a time stop. A time stop is extremely overpowered, and I'd be hard-pressed to find actual people that would be good against Corvo because of a lot of his overpowered abilities. I could actually see possibly the Dovahkiin because he can take a lot of damage, so he might not have enough time during the entire stop to kill him, but maybe. Another one is Ryu from Street Fighter versus either Scorpion or Liu Kang. I think they actually had a poll on that one to see who Ryu should fight, and it ended up being Scorpion, but I really don't want them to do that. Like, in the cartoon, Ryu dodged Guile's Sonic Boom after it was fired, which was stated to be Mach 2, meaning Ryu is capable of dodging something that's Mach 2. He's Mach 2. Scorpion has absolutely no speed feats, and if it comes down to it, Ryu gets angry and goes Evil Ryu, which is going to stomp him hard. There's a few other matches, but I'm not going to go too much into that here. I might make a separate video for it later, but I think I've talked too much on that for now. But overall, I'd like to see a lot more from the show in terms of close fights, as opposed to similar fights. And the main reason I've gone into this kind of tangent is because there wasn't that much for me to say for Bucky O'Hare versus Fox McCloud. It's going to be a boring one, kind of. The fight will be interesting, as it always is, but well, we'll see. Alright then, so this was Josh Curving, signing off.